Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Good afternoon, family. Good evening from my end. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Today, having a good day so far, and welcome to another episode of the Africa Today Show. My name is Joby, the voice behind this conversation. To everyone live with us on Rumble, BitChute, and YouTube, welcome back. Or rather, if it is your first time, kindly do remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and welcome to the media of the 21st century. Before we get started, where you can get yourself those amazing supplements is by downloading our app on the Google Play Store. Black Hot Fire Network is the name, and remember, you can also, apart from just having the app on your phone and checking those supplements, you can also stream live on the radio segment. You can stream live on the TV. If you have an Amazon TV, Roku TV, we are on the TV literally. So just download our app, Black Hot Fire Network, on whatever apps or the store you guys have on those, TVs. And once you have the application, no requirements are required, especially for the TV. No requirements. There's nothing required for you to sign in. Just download the app, and from the app you can listen to the radio on the TV still, or rather go to the TV segment where you can catch every episode live. But for now, we're not live, so you can maybe be able to catch the other shows that will be on repeat and that have been aired earlier. But karibuni sana once again. We shall be talking about the major disaster that is currently taking place, the banks which are removing cash, that is, of course, the money in these systems. And I'll be sharing, rather, my conversation shall be backed up by a certain video coming from BitChute, very well explained on what is really happening. But along that, I'd love us to start with what is happening with Trump's announcement of the federal troops who will be heading to Chicago, and we shall be starting with that. And of course, talk about also what happened earlier today. This is actually a few hours ago, where Trump did also order how do I even term this? There's a boat. This is about the drug crisis. There's a boat that has been bombed, and they're talking about how these drugs being trafficked in America, and they're trying as much as they can to stop this. But I'm trying to go back to the CIA whole movement of how drugs were actually being distributed, and the CIA knew all this. They were actually the ones distributing drugs. Remember, we talked about this just on Monday or Friday. And it's just not making sense that right now, looking at the Biden administration, the previous leaders, the fact that they were not able to deal with all this drug abuse situation, which they allowed and promoted, especially to destroy the Black community. It is crazy to see that, in quotes, that Trump is trying to make it better. But just 2 years ago, when you look at actually the Biden administration, we're talking about where over 300 people are dying in a day because of drug abuse. And this is why we go back and take a look at places like Philadelphia, some places of North America, like we also have Canada, which are part of literally how
on
this.
TikTok, he took it down.
Huh?
Oh, we live?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody just told me they found your account on TikTok. I said you're taking it down.
There's nothing on my account. It's there, but there's nothing on my account.
Oh, there's nothing on there. Okay,
yeah, but
he's still there. Okay.
Yeah, but we should also, of course, expand that conversation by, like I said, looking at the Philadelphia. Literally, how many states, cities? I don't know. I still get it difficult for me to understand
Philadelphia,
how America is divided.
Philadelphia's, Philadelphia's a city. Though.
Yeah, so we shall be looking at how these drugs actually have made so many people zombies. So the fact that Trump is acting like he's trying to deal with this, and this has already gone this far, it's not really making any sense. But before we get started, or rather as we start, I
The
want to
drug,
share
the,
this with
the
you.
drug, the drug addicts are the white people, as Big Cheese told you about. When he looks outside his window, he sees. You said you see birds chirping and all good things. He looks out his windows and see white meth heads.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
those are white drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
he say he's going. But he say he's got to go into black cities. See, black cities are like Philadelphia, Chicago,
mm-hmm.
L.A., New
Mm-hmm.
York, Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
Houston. They're cleaning up, Joby, because of the drugs and the crime of these N words.
Indeed, yeah, I see. It's really, really working, isn't it? I mean, really, it's not really making any sense. And I'll explain my understanding of why it's not making sense. But after the crackdown of, cleansing Washington, D.C., of course, we saw him also ordering or saying that Black people are crying and they want safety in their towns, in their cities. And he said that they're going now in Chicago. So let me share exactly what he had to say. And of
All
course,
right.
we have this map going viral of the black occupation. Thank you for sharing the video on TikTok, which explained better for me to understand what is, which places these black people are in, because it's hard for people to, for me, it's hard to literally know the country, the
Exactly.
count,
That
the
makes sense.
state.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You didn't grow up in the United States, so you would understand that black people are not all over the United States. Just like when you said, a couple years ago, you shared a video. I don't know if you remember this. You shared a video of this black girl being with this white man, and they had a black guy break down the side of the road, and she said, "No, don't stop, don't stop, don't
Yeah,
stop."
yeah, yeah,
So
I remember that.
they were in one of those areas where there's not many black people at all. And that state
Mm,
is called Wyoming. You know, where you got like two black people in the whole state, right?
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so in America, black people are not everywhere. So we in the country, they're in certain parts of the country.
Okay. So yeah, let me start with what he had to say, and then we move to
Yeah.
that video, understand deeper.
Mind up on Chicago though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I
Remember
appreciate it.
the
But
mugging
there were
they
other
did
people
was
in this room that
phony.
have
The
been
mugging
hurt.
that happened was phony. They staged like the white supremacists always do. The stage mugging or the stage theft in DC was phony. It was phony. And I knew it was phony, but that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he got robbed by black people. It's all fake. It's all phony. It's all staged. It's all a lie. It's a lie. And the funny part, they know it's a lie. They are, people probably investigated. No, this is what? This doesn't make any sense. This is a lie. But they keep saying it. And like we seen the crime rate in DC is down. Like when I was there years ago, 35 years ago, whatever, 34, right? It was up. But they weren't going to stop that because that was the CIA getting drug money. Okay, so they weren't going to stop. So when it was real crime in D.C., They weren't going to stop that because they were going to mess up their drug money. Okay? That was their CIA crack drug money. And that was part of them destroying black communities. So why did they stop it when I had Joey look up back in the early 1990s when DC was the death capital of the world, not just America, of the world, because of the drug thing that was going on there. And the crack cocaine and people fighting for territory. Who's going to get the crack was, crack was making a lot of money, making people millionaires overnight by destroying black people. Why wasn't it done then? Because the CIA was about it. It's about destroying black neighborhoods, and no one gave a damn. So this one's fake. When it's real, they won't do that. Right? It's real, they won't do that. So the crack epidemic, black people survived it again because we're just strong people. But why are you out in the suburbs with all the white people where Big Cheese is living outside Chicago with the meth heads who are white? Why you ain't out there cleaning them up? Majority of the drug users in the world are white people. And in America, they're white people, not black people. But on all your goofy movies, you show black people taking drugs, black people selling drugs, black people this. Your propaganda, your mind control shows black people. But the majority of drug users, drug dealers are white men, white people. Never shows up on none of your goofy movies. Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Very badly. Just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as...
I just make some crazy lies. They just says crazy stuff. Oh, just make up lies to lie. That's a white supremacist. Just lie. Lie. Everything he says a lie in his mouth. It's lie. This over the top lie. There never was any restaurants in D.C. Now there's going to be restaurants open everywhere. What? What are you talking about? Crazy talk. Go ahead, Joe.
It's a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad. Really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. To have our nation's capital lose.
These are the same people who are being taken now to Uganda, mostly Uganda.
Uganda, and then they're going to sneak into Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Every week, it was like many years where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had last week, it was announced.
How many years have you been? How many years have you been doodling in a diaper? Has that gone on for years? Has that gone on for years?
This week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem, and we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him. And say we don't have a problem, and we'd love you to send
Governor Pritzker, that's Illinois, and we know what city is in Illinois, Chicago. So he needs Governor Pritzker to give him authority to bring troops into Chicago because he doesn't have the authority to have troops go into Chicago without the governor's permission. That's why he said, I'd like the governor to call me so I can put people in the streets and start bothering the Negroes up in Chicago now. So I need to do that. Governor, call me, Governor. Go ahead, Joe.
The troops, because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network. really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network.
Oh,
And they
please.
interviewed about 12
So about all
people
you people.
on this morning. Most of them were African American, who were black. And they were saying,
Black.
please,
They're black. Please come and lock us down and come in our houses violently. See how they always do the black trope? It was black people asked us to be over policed. Remember that's the same scam that Bill Clinton used when he was president, while he was locking up black people. When he knows the crack epidemic was started by the government, he said, it was you black preachers and black people told me to lock your asses up. Yeah, black people told you to lock them up. Yep, sure did. That's what Bill Clinton said. Y'all remember that? If you don't, I have Joby find it. I have black people told me. Remember when Hillary Clinton was running for president and people screaming at Bill Clinton about him locking up black people? He said, well, you guys told me to lock your black asses up. What he said. This be crazy talk.
the president said that these were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified.
Say Chicago. What about all the other cities? What about all the other racist cities that are in Illinois? Springfield's racist. You know how many sundown towns you got in Illinois? What about those? What about putting police on the street? Why just Chicago? Oh, because Chicago's got a big black population. A big black American population. No. We're not going to put them in the other cities in Chicago because those are mostly white. Go ahead, Joe.
Call me up. I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country.
Do you mind up on Chicago, though?
You don't have the right to do it.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when we're going in. When you listen.
No. The Governor Pritzker said you do not have the right to put troops on anybody's state in any state without the governor's permission. You do not have that right. That goes against the Constitution. You must get permission from the governor because every state literally is its own independent country. That's why we are a federation of collective states that form the United States. United, right? We're a republic. You don't got the right to go into other state without their permission. You're the federal government. That's state government problem. You don't get, I'm just going to go on. I'm just going to Chicago and put people on the street and do what I want to do. You don't got that right. That's what asking the governor. You got to go to the governor, moron. Go ahead.
But everything they've done historically has always been against the law. So
of course, exactly, Joe. And this is what they're doing. They're showing that you have no constitutional rights. They're setting up a dictatorship, an authoritarian government. That's why I'm saying, no matter, we going in. No matter, we going in. Somebody asks me, you don't got the right there going. No matter, we got the right. We going in. And he doesn't have the right legally. He doesn't have that right legally. Go ahead, Joe.
So this is the guy explaining literally, of course, also to understand
black people in the West Coast
as this as this mission of Trump goes on, of course, which is a target, like you can see, it's literally where the black people are. And I'm still quite confused to see they are not specific, which immigrants are coming to Uganda and Rwanda. So I'm quite really confused. Who are these immigrants being taken from these places? Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York.
All the Hispanic ones.
Okay. So
have white with them on.
But I also did love to just connect to the stories because, I mean, Black people in other ways have also been affected, of course, by this. So I wanted to literally share this and that to understand the map that has been going viral, because I saw the map and I couldn't talk about it because I knew nothing. Like, I didn't know how to put this into words, but I love the fact that this guy was explaining what we can understand. Let me share it.
There are no black people in the West Coast of America. And while, yes, there are obviously and technically black people, what I mean is that the majority of black Americans in America still live in the South
South,
and in the Mid-Atlantic Northeast. There's a map floating around that people are really confused about the black populations by county, and it's showing a concentration of black people
from Texas to Florida to North.
And as someone who's from New York and I moved to LA, one of the biggest cultural shocks I had moving
A
here
lot of LA,
was
well, a lot of LA blacks have left. A lot of LA people in LA, black people have left because they can't afford to. Nobody wants to live in Joby's. Nobody wants to live in Joby's van and have a broken refrigerator for $2,000. A lot of black people have left California, and California used to be known as locking up black. Yeah, you got a big black population. You got they used to have no. They're leaving. They can't afford to live there. They should live in a. I'm allergic to living in a tent.
Hollywood, based on TV, based off me seeing things like Boys in the Hood and all these shows growing up as a black person, I thought the black
There were more black people. It was pretty big back then. It was that. No, you just got there from New York. Back in 30, we talking about Boys in the Hood and all that movie. There was a big population. That's why we had a black mayor. Tom Bradley for years was the mayor of LA. Tom Bradley, black mayor. There was a big black area. Most of the blacks have gotten the hell out of there. They've left. They can't afford to live there. They've left LA. You still got some up in the north around Oakland, but they're getting out of there too. They can't afford Oakland and San Francisco, so they're leaving too. The northern part of California. They're getting out. Unless you want to live in a tent. I can't afford to live in California. I can't. I'm not living on up to say I live in California. Damn that. Go ahead, Joe.
And when you look at it, I think the black population in California is something like 4% or something like that. It's very
small.
very, very small. And then California is where the most black people are in all of the West Coast. I've spent summers in Portland, Oregon. I've spent a lot of time in Seattle. I've been to Utah a couple of times.
Right. Those part of Western, there's no blacks at all. Up in Oregon, Seattle's got a few up there with Nisha's living there right now, and Seattle was very few. Especially when you start talking about Montana, Idaho, middle of none. Go ahead.
Because I see one of the persons says the black population on the West Coast has decreased due to racism.
Exactly.
Living.
Of course, exactly. He didn't know that. He just getting it from New York. He think that's really sees now as the norm. No, that's recently, dude. People have left because of the racism and really the high cost of living. The high cost of living is just black people got the black jobs. They can't afford to live there. They got the black jobs. They can't afford to live in California. You got to go. So it's the high cost of living that drove blacks out of the state. Don't you? That's why most of them end up in Texas. That's why you got the majority, the biggest majority with blacks right now, they're where I'm at right now, Texas. They're here in Texas because they moved from California to Texas. This is the biggest black population in America. They live in Texas. Go ahead, Joe.
All these places, man, there's just not black people. Growing up in the East, I think we take for granted.
Brandon, you go to New York with a bunch of
black people. And even if you grow up in like a middle class neighborhood like I did, your neighbors are everything.
Black.
Like I never associated wealth, education, and success with whiteness, because like where I grew up, everybody had a house. So obviously there's just segregation and disenfranchisement and oppression amongst black people everywhere. There's more opportunity for black people to thrive in a place where there's more of us, if that makes sense. Like I would never expect black people in like Wyoming or Iowa. Like I'm not crazy, but I was
Wyoming, when we just talked, Wyoming when Joby showed that video with that black lady with a white man, wouldn't stop and help the black guy fix his tire. Get out of here, it's a black man. That was Wyoming, but you won't see no black. And remember, Wyoming where that white guy chopped up that Kenyan lady in Wyoming. Go ahead, Jim.
So many more black people in California than there are. First moved here, Issa Rae started the Insecure Black Party, and I'll never forget, it was 2018, and every conversation that we had at the stadium was, yo, where do you live? Where do you be hanging out? Because I don't see black people. Where do you live? Where do you hang
I
out?
don't see black people.
Unless you live in South LA and you live in an all-black neighborhood, you don't really see black people unless you go to an event or you're going to a party. And I had to learn that very quickly. It was weird, like leaving a place like New York, black people.
You late, dude. You moved all the way out to the west to LA from New York. You realize, like they was reading, most black people have left LA, dude. They can't afford to live there. They've left. So it wasn't like you were what it was like 30 years ago. So yeah, that's your experience because you're new to LA. You left New York and wanted to move all the way across the country. You look at the Boys in the Hood was made 35 years ago. Yes, there was a lot of black people in LA and California then. They're not there. They can't afford it. So they got up and left. Go ahead, Joe.
Where you are to like me going weeks without seeing black people because I lived in a certain part of the city. But yeah, this map is very interesting, but there's no black people over here like there is back home. Just migration patterns, right?
No. It's right. That's right, migration. They left. No, there's not many black people in California as you got in New York. No, of course not. No. Hell, LA's just too, California's just too expensive. They got me out of there too. I'm from California. I don't live there. I had to get out. Shit, I gotta go. Good.
Just to go through the comments of a few people on the video. Someone says a lot of people in this comment section are arguing to argue. He's not saying there are not black people on the West Coast, just that it's significantly less than other parts of the country. Just like the first comment. Someone says, I'm from California and moved to Houston. Then GA, I don't know where that is, and you are correct. His friend noticed.
He said GA. He moved to GA. Probably talking about Georgia. Probably moved to Atlanta. So it's like, because I moved to Texas, and he probably didn't like Texas. And then he said, well, let me go with a bunch of black people. And he probably moved to somewhere around Georgia, Atlanta, or somewhere around Georgia.
She says the friend even noticed when she went to Atlanta and said everyone is black here and she loves it. And her and her friends were the only black kids in school, and they were all clicked together because they understood each other's lives. The mother, who's from the South, LA, though, and she said that the neighborhood was all black when she grew up in the 70s. So literally, as time goes by, due to racism, and the cost of living, they left. Last three comments I'm gonna read. Someone else says there used to be way more black people in LA, but generation. And then someone else says Auckland, Richmond, Compton, and Long Beach just don't exist. And the last comment I'm gonna read under this is someone says I always find non-Californians take on California so interesting and completely opposite of the experience of us, the natives. It's so fascinating, especially for us natives who understand the vast difference between the Bay, LA, and the rest of the state.
Yes, he don't understand the rest of he's a newcomer. He doesn't understand the nuances of California itself. California is such a big state. California is probably bigger than Kenya as a country. California is a big state. You don't understand the difference between the northern parts and the southern parts, because as far as the north part and the southern part of LA, it's completely different. They used to have a bunch of black people also in what we call the northern part of California, but they were gentrified. They were gentrified out of San Francisco. San Francisco was a lot of black people in San Francisco, but they got rid of them. So a lot of them have moved to what we call Oakland. And then Oakland's starting to get gentrified now. They're getting them out of there too. They're trying to get all black people out of the country. I mean, out of the state. You can't afford to live there. You just can't afford. So, and Oakland used to be what? Considered cheap. Considered one of the cheap places to go in California. Considered one of the, Oakland was considered one of the cheap cities, right? But hell, people can't afford Oakland anymore. It's too. They didn't gentrify Oakland. It's too expensive now. I don't think there's no place, to me personally, that you can go in California and live. Well, unless you, I guess you like. I guess if you like in Fresno or Bakersfield or something like that, out there where they be picking oranges and shit, right? Out there in Bakersfield or Fresno, I don't think there's no place to go that you can afford. That's decent. I just don't. I think they've destroyed California. Remember, everybody wanted. You guys remember back in the day? Because everybody wanted to come to California. Remember, it used to be a statement. Since California was the most populated state and the most advanced state we had back then, it used to be a thing in the country. So goes California. So goes the whole country. California was so powerful. It used to be a state. So goes California. So goes the whole country. Whatever California adopted, the whole country had to adopt. Didn't make any difference because California was that rich and that powerful. So if California adopted, the rest of the United States had to go along with it. As I told you, California is richer than Russia, richer than damn India, richer than countries. As a state, it's rich as hell. So, if you did whatever California did, the country had to do it. But now, and California's had the best of everything. Remember, California's had the best of everything. Everybody wanted to live there. College was free. You had the best schools in California. Like they said, that even a fake white ring. Well, it was the American dream. Yeah, I guess it was the American dream. But everything that was good came out of California. California was just considered above the education in California. It was just a great place to live. And then they just started purposely destroying the state. Purposely destroying it. And it's destroyed and you can't afford it. Can you imagine California used to be one of the cheapest states to live in? Now it's one of the most expensive, and that probably is the most expensive state. Like Joe said, California represented the American dream. That's why Hollywood, because remember, the movie business didn't start in California. It started in New York. Hollywood started in New York, and then it moved to California, and over 100-something years ago. So, I don't know. They just destroyed the state. I think they said they purposely just destroyed it. See, that's where the Black Panther movement started from, and where you got your black activists. Not no more. We got to stop all this. We got to stop all these black people talking about changing the world and the country and fighting for freedom and rights. Damn that. We're going to get their ass out of here. So,
Hey, shout out to Jason. And let me read what's on the chat before I get to move on to this next conversation about drugs and what Trump is trying to stop as well. Jason says all the black folks that had big life insurances policies on their folks, or hold on, all the black folks that had big life insurance policies on their folks or sold their property. And he also says, I had policies on mines. Shout out to Ras Kash Karibu Sana. Says total black population in USA, one Texas, 2 Florida, 3 Georgia, 4 New York. Or total black populations. Oh, that is Texas, Florida, Georgia, and New York. Okay. Jason says it's a total of black folks in California prisons too. And Byron Scott, welcome. Karibu Sana, hope you're doing great. He says, I believe it is very important for black folks to relocate to the south and east part of America.
I do. For numbers, exactly right. I believe that. I believe if you're going to, because I think as Africans, you're going to, black people, you're going to build a power base. And that comes through your population. So I think it's better for black people to move to the southeast of this country for power. You can't be spread out all over. I think they move to the southeast, meaning North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, these states for power. Consolidate power. Go ahead, Joe.
Byron also says they are also gentrifying Atlanta, and shout out to
They
James.
are. They are gentrifying Atlanta. But remember, Atlanta's still the richest black city in the world. Not America. Atlanta's the richest black city in the world. And they gentrifying their ass up out of there. And you got a lot of what? You got a lot of people, got a lot of men in wearing booty shorts. So, got a lot of booty short behavior over there. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Welcome, Dra Mosquito. Welcome, Jarake. Hope you're doing great. Nice to see you. And he says these hybrids, Hispanic, want their territory back. Their native Asian ancestors and relatives second this. And also adds that Republic of New Africa had the template. So if people are not bringing them up, they are not talking about black folks getting land. And yeah, this was up. So just gonna
Just from a job. Just from a job. Say, does Atlanta have more black millionaires than any other city? Does Atlanta have more black millionaires than any other city? They got more. They got more other shit too, but I'm just saying the millionaires. Does Atlanta have more black millionaires than any other city?
billionaires or millionaires?
Millionaires. Million.
It is, yes. Atlanta has the most black millionaires of any city in the United States, with some estimates placing the number between 10,000 and
It's really
25,000.
it's really in the world. Atlanta is the richest black city in the world. It's the place with the most men. Hopefully, most of them not wearing no booty shorts, but so that's why. So what Byron's saying is correct. This is where the most wealth is at on the planet, as far as black people go. So if who's black Americans to move to the southeast region, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina area to build power, because that's where your money's at. That's where you're the most wealthiest at. And so you consolidate that wealth and that power, and then you start dominating, but you got to be unapologetic about your domination. You be unapologetic about taking over shit and controlling it. But black people usually not, oh, I want to be nice and kind to every other race. All that old shit. Nah, you got to get out of that shit. Go ahead, Joe.
Yes, we move on. We have Trump with the drug crackdown. So there's a boat that was bombed today. They didn't give specification whether it's a drone attack or which type of system they used to do this. But let me share the video, and then after this, I have another one which is coming from the Biden administration, where still, if they were dealing with this crackdown of drugs not coming to America, that's the question I have. How comes we have right now 300 people dying in America every single day because of drug abuse? You know, if the previous regime didn't stop this from happening, and the previous, like we've been saying, everything they've been doing to them it's not about law. They don't follow the law. So the part that there was no proper investigations, proper crackdown on stopping this, it's not making sense that it's trying to make now America better, because the zombie apocalypse is already there. Like, I was trying to look at so many videos, people in the streets. If you talk about people on this looking like zombies, the same thing, of course, is happening, especially in Mombasa, Kenya. Here, we are through the port. That is where the drugs come in as well, because we have cartels as well who are doing this. But in Mombasa, Mombasa is so relative with what we're about to talk about, because people there, they sleeping every day, using injections, heroin, all types of drugs that are not supposed to be in the country.
All right, joining us now is Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Pete, good morning to you, first of all.
Good morning.
Good morning. So the president put the good to see you too. Thanks for your.
I don't follow trends, Joe Mosquito. Kindly, you should know that by now. I don't follow trends.
Service. The president put that video of him eviscerating, blowing up that boat coming across with all of the drugs on board. And the president said on social, on Truth Social, let them be on notice to anybody bringing drugs to the U.S. Beware. So the president is sending a message to other cartels, right?
A very clear one. I can tell you that was definitely not artificial intelligence. I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States.
Of course, it's fake. They've been knowing. Yeah, it's what we were sharing just last week. The CIA have been knowing this. They were the ones spreading the drugs literally all over. Like we're talking about them using planes. They did nothing about this. It's a lie.
States trying to poison our country with illicit drugs. Last year, under the Biden administration, all 4 years, 100,000 Americans died from drug-related from drugs, from the use of drugs, many of which poured in from Central and South America through our southwest border. Now, we're sealing the border, but President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been. And to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela, we're not going to allow this kind of activity. You're poisoning our
people. Pause that. You see, the drugs don't come from Venezuela. See, they want Venezuela because they want Venezuela oil. If things come from Venezuela, it's a scam. The drugs come from Colombia, where you got American base and the CIA controls Colombia. That's where all the drugs, that's where your drug cartels were from. The Medellin cartels and all that came from Colombia, not Venezuela. There's no cocaine grown in no fucking Venezuela. So they know they're lying. They own the news. All this is a lie. Venezuela has oil. They want Venezuela's oil because Venezuela has the biggest oil resources in the world. Has nothing to do with any drugs. There's no drugs coming out of Venezuela. They're coming out of Colombia. And there's American bases in Colombia. Why don't they stop it? Oh, because the CIA controls those drugs. And we're going to prove this. I'm not Joby go to damn Google if they don't lie about the opium drug trade and say who made the money? Who made the money off the opium Chinese drug war? Who made the money? And because those people, those families are still around and their businesses are still around. All this nonsense. Venezuela. See, I want you to understand the narrative when they create the narrative. Venezuela ain't gonna do no drugs in America.
They're saying that the British East India Company and the private British merchants made significant money from
the private business merchants, Joby, are called the Rothschilds.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call. Go ahead.
Initially by monopolizing Indian opium and later by supplying it through private trade after the Queen.
So, Joby, the British government and the banks control the drug trade, which they still do now, Joby. And they tell you, oh, it's Venezuela on the drugs. All a lie.
Yeah, I still have much information from the last conversation we had because you explained it very well how the CIA, what they were doing, and they didn't try to stop this. So
no, because remember, CIA is American spy group. They know, and we know who created the CIA. The hat, cats with the hat. Those are the same ones that were pumping drugs into China. They went to war, Joby, to make sure China stayed on drugs. Imagine that. They went to war. They went to war because China said, that's what's called you just looked up, it's called the opium drug war. China said, stop putting drugs in our country. Knock it off. We don't want them. And they went to war with them. So you're going to have drugs and we're going to make money off drugs from you. Just shut your mouth.
Okay, I'm continuing.
You okay? Gathering in the region?
I was taking some medication. I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
And so you want to try to traffic drugs. it's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
Well, Mr. Secretary, you made it very clear when we had the opportunity to visit the southern border at Fort Bliss. The Southern Command knew exactly where these folks were and that you guys were going to take them out. I guess the question is, this operation specifically,
see, I want you to the narrative is phony. All the drugs in this world, Joe, are controlled by the same people. Run the banks and these governments from America to England. What they're saying is all a lie, Joe. They own the media. That's why you got this bootlick asking bootlick questions about nothing. What about have you stopped the drugs and you got the drones? All kind of see. This is the fool, the people that look at the news and believe they're out there fighting when they're the ones responsible making money from said drugs, Joe.
I agree, because if you have zero history about how they literally they've destroyed America with drugs, like you've said, fighting China and other countries to accept drugs, it's very evident. Like if you don't have that history, you're gonna sympathize with them. You're gonna be like, oh my God, yes, they're trying to see, it's not great, and we support this. This is why you see there's more.
And you find out it's the very government who's supposed to be fighting drugs, Joby, who are behind the drug trade. The very government, Joe. We know it's the very government who created crack and flood America with crack. That's the CIA. And but now, Joby, they're fighting drugs in Venezuela. Venezuela drug lords drove into Venezuela. Venezuela don't make no drugs, Joby. They want their oil. Venezuela's a oil producing country that those people want their resources, Joe. So they make a false narrative about this drugs in Venezuela, Joe. Drugs. We gotta stop the drugs coming out of Venezuela. And put us up, Joe, real quick. Ask Google. Say, does the majority of cocaine in South America come out of Colombia? Does the majority of cocaine that they're talking about come out of Colombia?
They're saying that cocoa, the raw cocaine. Okay, let me put that there.
That's it. Cocoa is cocaine, Joby. Cocoa leaf is cocaine. Yeah, that's it. You got to process it. That's it, Joby. Cocaine is made out of cocoa leaves.
So they're saying that coca, the raw material of cocaine, is grown exclusively in the Andean region of South America. Cocaine production.
Andean region, South America. That's Colombia, Joe. That's not Venezuela. That's Colombia. So they're telling you it's showing the region which is in Colombia, Joby. Not Venezuela, Joby, Venezuela. You just read that the majority of cocoa plants are cultivated in Colombia, Joby.
99, that is 95% of the cocaine.
95%. But you see, Joby, you see they didn't mention Colombia? You know why? Because Colombia is a puppet state of America. They got control of Colombia. They the ones funnel the drugs. But they want Venezuela, but they tell you Venezuela, Joby, Venezuela and the drugs. Because Venezuela got oil, Joby, that they want to steal. Those are resources that they want to make them millions of dollars for themselves, like they always do. So they give you false narrative, Joby, talking about the drugs, Joby, in the Venezuela. But you just said 95% of the drugs come from Colombia in that region. Is it, Joby, the Venezuela, the drugs, Joby, the drugs.
W. Don, who's just getting in, is saying CIA is the same as cocaine import agents.
Exactly. I would call it the cocaine import. Exactly. Everybody's hip to it, but they, like Joby said, most people don't know the history, don't understand how propaganda works. You say, oh man, these Venezuelans, Joby, they're doing drugs trades and shit. Venezuelans, we gotta go get them. They got my kids as zombies. It's like, hey, stupid. Those drugs come from Colombia. And America's got bases down there, and they control Colombia as a puppet state of the United States. But that ain't, and they're looking at faces like this, Joby. That ain't what the news said.
Yeah, exactly. Not buying the news. But of course, part of not buying the news, I like Al Jazeera. Even there's someone on the chat who recently just on the other show said Al Jazeera is one of the medias, as much as it's controlled, they try give facts. This is the only media I'd say reports actually the truth of what is happening in Hamas, other countries
Okay.
regarding war and all. You'll see the true images of these things happening. Other medias are not showcasing this. So I'll give the props to Al Jazeera. It's not like I'm giving it
All right.
100% of the props. But yeah, I'm going to share this video of, this is 2 years ago during Biden administration, of course, where 300 Americans were dying a day because of drug abuse. And they're trying to talk about...
And I bet they were mostly white Americans, Joby. But since they're white Americans, Trump's not talking about putting no troops on the street for them and arresting them. Joby, they're sick. They're not supposed to go to jail, Joby. They need treatment, Joby. They need treatment. Treatment, Joby. Not jail. But if your black ass got some drugs, it's jail for you, Joby. Jail for you, you Negro. That's right.
After this video, the next video I'm gonna share, yes, I observed most white people are the ones on the street. If you see
That's
black
right.
people, it's less and few to count, but I've seen more white
Black people on the street because they ain't got no money. They broke. Because they broke, Joby.
But shout out to everyone with us on the chat. Kindly hit that like button as you tune in, and welcome to the conversation.
Hi, I'm Steve Clements, and I have a question. Can America's drug abuse epidemic, which kills more than 100,000 people each year, be traced to one family of billionaires? Let's get to the bottom line.
One family of billionaires. How about that?
By the time this show ends, 5 Americans will have died.
This is for educational purposes. YouTube, kindly do not take our stream down. This is for educational purposes. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1997. This is for only education, criticisms, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted. So this
Fair
is
use, damn it.
Yeah.
Died from a drug overdose. By the end of this day and every day, the number is going to be about 300. It's one of the country's top killers, more than guns, more than car accidents, and more than suicides. And it's everywhere, from posh suburbs to farm country. For decades, survivors of addiction and relatives of victims have been trying to hold one company to account, Purdue Pharma. That company, privately owned by a billionaire family, the Sacklers, has been in the painkiller business for decades. But when
billionaires, and of course, if I understand right now, the billionaires, you must be evil to be a billionaire. So part of evilness is where you're destroying the society, because that is what they're doing.
they released the powerful drug in the 1990s, OxyContin, drug abuse skyrocketed along with Purdue's profits. For years, government prosecutors tried to sue
Remember that. Remember that's opium. OxyContin is just a nice name for opium. And that's why we were in Afghanistan stealing those people opium. Right? And it's always about a war about terrorism, but that was a lie. We were guarding the poppy fields, the opium fields, to make this drug so their people can get rich. It's always a con. War's always a con. It's always fake. Go ahead, Joe.
Communities and states across the country. Just recently, a settlement was just reached where the family will pay $6 billion in return for immunity from any future opioid lawsuits. But will it help? Or is America beyond fixing when it comes to the steep decline into drug addiction?
It is beyond fixing, because what Trump is
opioids
trying to do,
or opium?
It's beyond fixing.
Tell the name they make it opioids. Opioids is opium. I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying America is past beyond fixing. Him questioning, is America, beyond fixing or not? It's way beyond fixing, because just like from the other video, they are just using the propaganda, but it's been happening. There's nothing they have done to stop it. So it's for God.
Today, we're speaking with Barry Meyer, a former journalist with the New York Times, who was among the first to cover the opioid epidemic. His book, Painkiller, An Empire of Deceit and the Origin of America's... Barry, thank you so much for joining us. I have been reading you and your chronicle of this horrible story for decades. I think you began writing about what was going on almost 25 years ago, if I'm right. And I'm just interested in how you were turned on so quickly to the impact of what has become just a national horrible epidemic?
Well, first of all, Steve, thanks very much for having me on. And yes, you make me feel like an old man, which I am, because it was almost 22 years ago, 23 years ago, that I got a tip from an editor at the Times who came up to me one day and said that a pharmacy regulator in the Midwest had called him and told him that there was this hot new drug on the street. And what was remarkable about it was that the sales representatives, the people promoting the drug to doctors and pharmacists, were going around and telling them that this painkiller, which was called OxyContin, was designed in a way where it wouldn't be abused. It was much less prone to abuse than existing painkillers. And that started the trail. I mean, initially, a colleague and I started making phone calls to druggists and law enforcement officials. And basically, I think it was in early 2001, we published at the Times our first story about this new drug that was being promoted as a wonder drug, but was in fact becoming the hottest drug of abuse on the street. And from there, it just became a trail that I followed and followed and followed.
I'm wondering what went wrong. What was the government fail in this? As we're all talking about the Sacklers getting immunity for $6 billion. And by the way, folks, they're going to remain very rich still. What did the government allow to happen?
Well, you know, Steve, this is sort of an example where there's not one simple answer. Because it was a failure on so many different levels by so many different people of both oversight and regulation and honest mistakes also. I mean, I think it's important to realize that, you know, OxyContin is a drug that has very useful purposes. You know, it can be used for cancer treatment, for treatment of end-of-life pain or terrible chronic existing pain. So it's a valuable drug. But what the FDA did, and what was a unique and mind-blowing mistake, was approve authorized a recommendation or a suggestion that OxyContin, because it had this special time release formulation to it, could be used to treat basically any kinds of pain. And this became like the golden ticket for Purdue to start marketing this for all kinds of pain, back pain, dental pain, sports injuries, you name it. And so this drug seeped into sort of the breadbasket of American medicine and was prescribed and overprescribed and quickly made its way out onto the street. The other issue that was going on at the same time was that there was this philosophical idea in the United States that was being promoted, by Purdue and others, that pain was being undertreated, that people were being allowed to suffer needlessly. And while that was true in a limited number of cases, this became part of the drumbeat, if you will, for Purdue to convince doctors that they should be prescribing this drug more aggressively.
What is the ecosystem of drug prescriptions? And I'm not going to mention the doctor, but I remember 20 years ago when I would visit the doctor and have, you know, a nasal infection, have something, as the doctor would reach into a bag of some stuff the pharmacy, you know, or the drug companies had given them, and literally drop in my hands a bunch of like samples and just say, take these home. And I, at that time, had not read about Purdue and how it had basically innovated a very new drug distribution, or at least drug test out system to pharmacists and doctors around the country. But can you share with our viewers what the innovations were that Purdue brought to the distribution of this drug?
Well, you know, it sort of traces back to one of the things I found most fascinating when I was researching the book and researching the story. And that was, there were three Sackler brothers, and the sort of the scion of the family, if you will, was Arthur Sackler. And in the late 1950s, early 60s, Arthur Sackler created something that hadn't existed before, which was basically the advertising of prescription drugs to pharmacists and the use of sales representatives to go out and basically market drugs to pharmacists. And then the recruiting of doctors who were then being paid to market drugs, to market these same drugs to their colleagues. So he essentially created this ecosystem that we live in today, where there is a pill for every ill, and we're confronted by these advertisements everywhere we look, magazines, television, you name it. And prior to the advent of OxyContin, these kind of massive advertising campaigns were reserved for, kind of commonplace medicines, like your hay fever medicine or a heart medicine or something like that. But OxyContin became the first case where the techniques that were used to promote kind of everyday drugs were used to promote what was arguably the most potentially addictive medication sold in the marketplace.
But they didn't do anything about it. They still didn't do anything about it, despite using doctors to promote this, using the media, allowing it to pave its way in the streets. They still didn't do anything to stop it. Like, they allowed it. So
But they blame Venezuela. Venezuela did that, Joby. From another country. Venezuela.
use an agenda to destroy your very own people. So this is the video I was watching. How do I have the right one? I have two. I have this one. Let me share this one. See the zombies, it's like a zombie apocalypse going on here. It's crazy. Let me share.
At first, we all thought Kensington, Philadelphia was the capital of chaos, where the drug crisis ruled the streets. But what if I told you there's a place even worse? A place where the drug epidemic has reached terrifying new levels, and it's not in the US. Welcome to Vancouver, Canada, the city with one of the highest open drug addiction.
George Guy, that's your city, George. That's your city, George. You talking shit about my college town of Philadelphia. No, when I was going to college, it didn't look like that. But yeah, Vancouver. That's you, George. You gotta watch out. George, you gotta dodge all kind of meth heads just to get to work. That's why you got a motorcycle. Now I get it. Now so you can dodge them. I got you. We're all Vancouverians. We're not all Jamaicans. We're all Vancouverians now, George.
Here in Vancouver's downtown east side, it's like stepping into a real-life apocalypse. Tents lining the sidewalks. People injecting in broad daylight. Fentanyl, meth, crack.
This ain't Africa. This is Canada. All you Africans want to go?
But wait.
Wow. This ain't Africa. This is Canada. This is Canada. Okay. All you guys want to escape to? This is Canada. Look at this crazy shit. Chance, everybody's homeless, all drugged out. Wow. This is crazy. George, we're not all Vancouverians now.
In this video, you'll see why Vancouver's drug crisis is now being called North America's most dangerous open drug zone. You'll discover the shocking truth behind Canada's safe supply policy, the government-sanctioned sites where people legally inject, and why this radical approach is making global headlines. We'll explore why this city, one of the most beautiful places on Earth, now hides one of the darkest human tragedies of our time. You'll see how
used to be considered one of the most beautiful cities. It did used to be considered one of the most beautiful cities in the world. That's true, but not no more. Not no more.
Are destroying minds and bodies, leaving users frozen, standing, bent over, as if their spines just gave up. And yes, we'll finally reveal what really causes this spine-breaking posture. Why they lean free.
Look at that.
Freeze and stay
Well,
stuck in this strange,
look at
haunting state
Vancouver.
that people all over the world keep asking about.
Ladies, don't get flown out to Vancouver, okay?
And here's the big question that no one is brave enough to ask. If Canada, a nation of safety, order, and progress, has this unfolding disaster right in front of its eyes, is any city truly safe from becoming the next Vancouver? Stay till the end, because this may change how you see modern cities forever. Welcome to share our video, Create Positive, beating heart of Canada's drug epidemic. Some call it the land of the living dead.
This looks like LA, Jack. If Joey wouldn't told me this was Vancouver, I said, where's this, LA somewhere? Wow. Shit.
Beating heart of Canada's drug epidemic. Some call it the land of the living dead. Others simply call it the place where hope comes to die. Everywhere you turn, people slumped on the ground, faces frozen, bodies shaking, needles scattered on the pavement like fallen leaves. No hiding, no shame, no police interference. This isn't happening late at night or in secret alleyways. No, it's happening right here in the open, under the blue Canadian sky, in broad daylight. Meth, heroin, fentanyl, crack, it's all flowing freely. People inject right on the sidewalk, in front of passing cars. Tourists, even children heading to school. For most cities, this would...
These are images you'd not grow up thinking about America looks like this.
Of course not. Of course not. That's not American. That's a Canadian. White people.
There are places in America which look like this, you know.
Of course, the Americans look like that too. But let's keep it 100. This is Canada, not America. Calm down.
Be a shocking emergency, but here, this is the new normal. The cost of survival. For many addicts, it's just another hit, another breath, another day not to die. And what's truly terrifying, this is happening in one of the richest, safest countries on earth. So how did Vancouver, the shining jewel of Canada,
even though Canada is, Canada's one of the richest countries in the world, is still poorer than California. Ain't that funny? California is richer than all of California as a state is richer than all of Canada, all of it. That's how rich California is. And you got more people in California, one state, than you got in the whole country of Canada. Go ahead, Joe.
Zero for North America's worst open-air drug market. That's what we're about to uncover. But wait, why here? Why is Vancouver, known worldwide for its mountains, clean air, wealth, and beauty, home to North America's largest and deadliest open-air drug market? How did the downtown East Side turn into what some call the zombie capital of Canada? Well, it didn't happen overnight. For decades, this area was ignored, left behind by gentrification.
Exactly,
pocket of poverty, exactly. And expensive.
I'm about to say because of poverty. I'm about to say, I already knew it was going to be because of poverty. Because the West is going broke, and the poverty is becoming more since they're white people. They're not used to being poor, so they're going to turn the drugs to coke. It's going to be poverty. See, this is the kind of shit you're supposed to see in Africa amongst these dirty Africans, right? These Africans have low character. But see, that's because of poverty right there.
Then came the flood. Crack in the 80s, heroin in the 90s, and now, fentanyl, the silent killer that turns users into statues standing mid-step or frozen mid-sentence. Vancouver's port made it easy. Cartels ship pure, cheap fentanyl straight in. The city's safe supply policies made access even easier. Free, government-distributed drugs that sometimes leak to the streets. And the homelessness crisis? It only fed the fire. Thousands forced to the sidewalks, driven by sky-high housing costs, job losses, mental illness, and addiction. This isn't just drug use. It's slow, public suicide, playing out every hour of every day.
That's where they send all them Kenyans at too. I thought I left this kind of poverty back in Kenya, where you didn't. Good luck to you.
Oh my God.
If you guys don't know what Vancouver would be like maybe 3 hours north of Seattle, Washington, where Nish is living there right now. So Vancouver is right across the border from America, from the United States. Vancouver sits right across the border. You got Victoria, then you got Vancouver a little further up, a little further north. So it's probably about 3 hours north of Seattle, Washington. Go ahead, Joe.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for what your eyes will see when you walk these streets. It's like stepping into another world. People standing frozen for hours like statues, mouth open.
We need to ask George. We need to ask George. I want you to George, go get your camera and get your fancy bike, you Jamaican. Go down there taking some real videos.
Eyes blank. Others stumble half naked in the cold rain, muttering to no one, scratching at their own faces. And the sidewalks, littered with crack pipes, burnt foil, used syringes, right beside tents made of garbage bags and broken umbrellas.
Wow.
Even the rats roam free, knowing the humans here are too far gone to care. And the stench, rotting food, human waste, burnt chemicals, it's the smell of forgotten lives. This is not a war zone. It's not a horror movie. This is Vancouver's downtown east side, a place where dealers openly sell fentanyl at street corners, where overdoses happen right in front of you, and where some people die in the exact same spot they once begged for help.
Pause that. Now I've been to Vancouver one time when I was a kid. My older sister was going to medical school at the University of Washington. And so my parents, that was their first trip going to Canada. They wanted to go to Canada. And so they, we didn't plan to go to Vancouver, but that's where we ended up. So as a child, that's my first and only time ever going to Vancouver. Because my older sister was going to college in Washington State. And I was going to medical school. So I thought it was a lovely city back then, but I was a kid. What the hell do I know?
It's so dirty. It's like a Kibera with a tarmac road.
That's right.
Yeah,
Are you leaving Kenya? I'm going to Canada, Joby. Get you.
Oh my God.
I'm flexing on you, Joby.
Ew, rats. Damn.
I got one of Trump's diapers up in there.
This bent spine posture, you've seen it. People folding over like they've lost their backbone. Why do they stay like that? It's not just sleepiness. Fentanyl causes intense muscle relaxation, respiratory depression, which makes users lose control of their posture. It's called the fentanyl lean. The brain gets so flooded that it can't keep muscles engaged. They nod off, but choose to stay standing. So they don't waste the high and they freeze mid-step. Then there's the added heroin street mix, xylazine, a veterinary sedative making people limp even more, deepening that zombie posture. In some cases, people remain bent for so long, their bodies stiffen, and after months or years, their spine actually warps like permanent hunchbacks. Medical experts have documented chest wall rigidity and skeletal muscle stiffness.
Cats are shitting all on themselves. Stand up like that, this shit all on themselves. George, where you at? We're going to get you, George. You got to go send us some real videos. We want to see the real thing, not this white man talking. Go ahead, George.
Well, I can I couldn't find. Yeah, George guy must send us the real videos because I couldn't find a black guy or any, a better explanation of what is happening.
Contributing to the
But yeah.
zombie freeze. So when you see someone bent over, wobbling like a statue, that's not them choosing to fall asleep. It's a deep chemical shutdown. Their body just stops. You can't even stand straight.
This is crazy, but that is what is happening. So if really
And
Trump
remember,
wants to make
in this city as well, in Vancouver, the Indians that are migrating are now doodling on the beach over there. Remember? So you got the Indians open up their buttholes and doodling in public.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was in Vancouver, Joe. Yeah, same place, out at the beach, Joe.
You will find me there. I like the beach, but you will not find me there. Thank you for letting me know. No, hell no. But let me go to the comments before we get to shift to the main conversation about the banks.
About the who?
The banks removing money from.
How do I know they're not doodling on the beach in Mombasa? A lot of Indians over there too.
We have private beaches in Mombasa too, so yeah.
I know you got a bunch of Indians.
In Diani, we were in Nyali. In Diani, there's a lot of in Nyali there's a lot of private beaches. In Diani too, in Diani Diani is very pretty. I love Nyali personally. I've gone there a couple of times, so I think I like Nyali. So just nice,
We know they're pretty, but there's Indians there too.
But not on the private beaches, no. And if they're not doing there. They're not shitting there. You're going to shit everywhere on the public. We don't even accept that bullshit right here. That's some bushman type of behavior. But it's just true. But I see Jaroke just from where I left. Baron Scott said, "You have to be careful in Atlanta if you're looking to find a real woman." And Jaroke,
you got to check downstairs and make sure she ain't carrying no extra packets. Right.
All right. Well, speaking of what.
Let me pause there. Also see Jaroke says, "I'm down here. All that so-called money means nothing. Yes, they are turning men into homophilies to make it easier to take over. Homophilies. That's how you call it? Okay, Jarake. It says, don't chase these fake-looking females wanting to look like drugs. Go to the outskirts." Well, I'd say I've been looking lately to understand. I can now tell women with BBL, the lip fillers and all that. In the nice.
You can tell the BBL because the BBL stink.
Oh, I don't know about the stinking, but I can tell the legs. That is one thing I've been able to identify nowadays because I couldn't tell back then, but I've been able to tell not the difference. Byron says Atlanta's black population is one of the highest educated as well. Jaraki says Republic of New Africa, free the land. And Jar Mosquito says, Joby, you're not seen Housewives of Atlanta. Like I said, I don't go with the trends. I just don't. I ain't got you in
that. That ain't the most disturbing. I ain't seen that shit over when I was still married, right? My wife would have me look. That's the most disturbing garbage nonsense I ever seen. Yeah, so bad that we had a situation mind infected by nonsense. That Housewives of Atlanta. Oh my God. I had to look at that mind-numbing nonsense the last years of my marriage. That's how I knew we had Cynthia. They was always getting married and divorced. You had Candy from the music, from the group Escape. You had that Cynthia Bailey who was a model. You had that Kendra, what's her name? Kendra something who was a model. You had they got rid of that Kim Fields. They got her ass out of. She was too nice. She was crying. They were talking all crazy about her. You had who else? You know, that Phaedra girl. Was that Phaedra girl and her husband Apollo? They broke up. He went back to prison or something. It was just Oh, I said, my God, I gotta watch this nonsense. I think it used to come on every Sunday. What was that, like the Bravo channel? One of these goofy channels. I can't remember. A&E, Bravo. Man, that shit was straight garbage. Like, oh man, what is this shit here? But I think it still comes. Doesn't still. And what was that other loudmouth? She got all that plastic surgery. I seen like, what was the black one always talking crazy? The one was dating that old man. But they all were dating a lot of them had old sugar daddies. I know Cynthia broke up with the guy who owned the restaurant in Charlotte and Atlanta. He went broke. What was the guy? What was the one with the big nose and the big? She got plastic surgery and skin light. What was her name, guys? What was that lady's name on Housewives? The one who used to always talk all the trash. What was her name? Hold on, Joe. Do me a favor. I got to know this lady's name. Say. See, that's what I was watching. Say 2010. Say go to Google. Say the Atlanta Housewives cast back in 2011. I know it's probably changed now. What was that big nose broad that got all that plastic surgery done? I stopped watching. I seen her. What's her name? Big Cheese. You get her name? What's her name? Nikki. That's her name. Nikki. That's her name? Yeah, Nikki. What's everybody's name on that, Jovi? Can you see?
I see I see Kim Zolkia, Candy Borers, Mario Ham,
yeah,
Dishon Snow, Nini Leaks.
Nene, no, not Nikki. Nene, that's what Nene Leaks. That's the one. That's the one. That's the moron that was on there talking all crazy. All of that uneducated moron. If Joby pulls up a picture of what she looked back then, they got pictures of them then, Joby, and what that lady looks like now. The plastic surgery is crazy. This girl, the skin lightening and chopped off her nose. She's like a European. So, do me a favor, Joby. Say images of Nene Leaks back in 2011 from Housewives of Atlanta. Then we're gonna say today.
Yes, she has changed. Here she is at the beginning.
Yeah. Like, what kind of plastic surgery you done? Now look at that joke. Then she tries to say, I had no plastic surgery there. People laughing in her face. Look how ridiculous she looked right there. Now show the new version of this broad. She look like the same person. Say, Nene Leaks 2025. And they got a picture. Say, Nene Leaks 2025. She ain't like the same woman. Like this. Like, what's going on? You're like, what's going on with this broad?
Can you see it?
Is that current? Is that 2025?
Yeah, this is our latest.
All right, don't look like the same woman. I can't have my phone so small. But you don't look like the same woman, blonde nonsense. She chopped off her nose. She had a big nose like Joby's Ugandan dude. Right? A big nose. So she chopped off her nose. So, and she's married that old dude, Greg. He was all old. She talked him out. Remember, all those women were disrespectful to their husbands, disrespectful to men. That's what they wanted out there. Exactly. All them black women. What happened, Joby? What'd you say?
I'm saying exactly. That's why I never watched it, because it was used to be Housewives of Atlanta, LA. It was different.
Yeah. But them was the only black ones, though, Joby. All the others were white women. We don't care about them. They're all white people. So this one, because Atlanta is known as the Mecca, is going to be a black people. So LA's going to have white people. New York's white people. All the others will be always white people. So Atlanta was going to be black. This girl there. Look how different she look. Look at that. That's the one. Joby, is that like the same woman?
No.
And then she said she never had no plastic surgery. We are misremembering her, she said. Y'all just misremembering me. Y'all misremembering Leaky. Nene, with all these, you guys misremembering me, Joby. What?
You can tell.
No, look at that. They misremembering her crazy ass. But remember, all of them were disrespectful to black men. That's what they said. The black man was always like a child and all that. That's why I told my wife, I said, man, I can't look at this shit. This demasculating black men. This unmasculating black men. What is this? I said, don't you see this is an agenda? I said, yeah, but I still like the drama. You told me, right? I said, don't you see this is an agenda? Yeah, I know it's an agenda, but I like the drama. I like the way they talk to these men all crazy. I like that. I said, yeah, you better not talk to me all fucking crazy like that. Talking crazy. This shit all crazy. Just talking they talk their husbands all. You can't remember none of their husbands' names because the husbands were nothing in this show. They talked them crazy. Sorry, yeah, my voice went out. but they talked them all crazy. You're like, what? And they all got divorced except I think at that time Candy wasn't married. She married a low budget dude. So Candy's like the sugar mama to the dude she married. He was low budget, right? That dude was low budget, and Candy was already a millionaire. So she's the one buying them nice cars and clothes. So, but the other ones, we're just talking to. And he had the other girl. What's her name? Not Kendra. What's that other one? That new one who was married to that football player. What was her name? He dumped her ass when they got on the show. Said, you done got too crazy, man. I'm getting Cordell Stewart. What was his wife's name? You guys tell me what was Cordell Stewart's wife's name? When she got on that show, he got rid of her ass with the quickness. He said, you done got out of pocket up in here. You got to go. What was that girl's name? Because she just got, remember she married a Nigerian, and that Nigerian was slick. I love the Nigerian, kept everything in his mama's name back at the house. She tried to get that Nigerian's man money. So I'm not giving you shit. What was her name? You guys know her name? You guys know what was her name? Let me see. Yeah, I'm saying, what was that? Hey, Joe, Portia, that's the name, Portia. Yeah, Joby got it already. Joby quick with that Google.
That is Jibba Jabba, shout out to him.
Oh, Jibba did it? Yeah, Portia. So Portia got the talking crazy. I do think Courtney's probably gay. I ain't heard nothing from her since then, though. But she got to talking to. She on that show got to talk to Cordell. Cordell divorced her like in 2 months. Her getting on that damn show. It was. Cordell didn't mess around with the quickness. He said, listen here, this show got you out of pocket. You in there talking to me all kind of crazy. I'm going to have to get rid of your ass. Damn. That's the only thing I like. I was looking at with my wife. Cordell divorced that woman like in 2 months of getting on that show till you out of your mind. Think you'll come here talking to me crazy? You got to go. He divorced her ass like in 2 months. Get your chicken head ass out of here. So that's the only one I know divorce. And then also that guy, Cynthia Bay. Remember the guy owned the restaurants in Atlanta and also Charlotte. I think he went bankrupt. He was on the news here recently because I think they divorced like 5 or 6 years ago. He was on the news trying to get him some young coochie, right? And a young girl was stealing all his money. His old ass, his name was Peter. Peter was trying to get him some coochie Joby's age, and the young girl was taking all his money. I think she bankrupted his ass. If I remember, I think she took all his money. Mother damn near 70 trying to date somebody like Joby's age. She took all his damn money.
I know. Kid knows every episode. That's why he was invested too.
I know those episodes back then. I knew you guys would hear me say no new episode. That was back then. That's been 13 years ago. The cast is completely changed now. I don't know who's on that shit, or is it still on? Is it still on? Remember they changed cast members. I was there in the beginning. My wife said, I ain't seen that shit in over 10 years. 10 years I haven't watched one episode of that shit. I'm telling you what was happening 12, 13 years ago. Pause it. Okay, Joey, tell me because that sounds okay. Put it. That's how you know I'm not lying. Say, when did Phaedra divorce They were already getting divorced, so they probably got divorced like in 2016 or 17. I stopped watching that shit and I got divorced in 2014. So when did when did Phaedra divorce her husband Apollo that was on Atlanta Housewives? Ask that. You'll see, I ain't watched that shit. I don't know if she's been involved with somebody since then or not. Is she still on the show? She was a con man ass lawyer. Con man ass. All these bras was no damn good. All of them were no damn good. I'm like, man, this got these bras talking crazy. They ain't gonna be talking crazy to me. Let's say,
2014.
yeah, see, 2014. That's when I started looking at it, 2013 when I got divorced. See, they got married because I knew they were going through divorce in 2013, but I was still watching that shit. So I don't know what she been doing. See, they got divorced over 11 years ago. That's why I told you I watched that shit over a decade. That's when they got divorced. I don't know nothing. Has she been with somebody? Probably so. Probably remarried. I don't know. I watched when she told me she gonna divorce Apollo ass, and he was going back to prison because he was running scams to support her, her ass wanting to be rich. I'm like, man, I ain't going to prison because this broad wants to be rich, doing all kind of scams and shit. And then when he got caught, he said, don't be involved with me in none of your scams. Look at this. He said those scams kept the house, this $1 million house you're living in. These scams kept you fine clothes, not your law degree. Your law degree ain't paid for shit. He said your law degree ain't paid for shit. She's like, oh, child, don't bother me in none of your scams. What? He said my scams kept you in this $1 million house. My scams kept you in these cars and clothes. Right? They got the nerve talking about, don't involve me in none of your scams. What? I said, listen here. This house got to go. These Mercedes Benz that you drive around, all this shit got to go. My scams. Don't involve me in none of your scams. So, anyway, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me share this video so we can get the information of the major conversation from the topic. And then you can wind up with the comments because I see you all are very active on that conversation.
All right. Because they probably, they lying. They probably had to watch that shit. I must say, they probably watched that shit back in the day with their girlfriends, Joby. They married. Jibba Jab was still married. You know his wife probably made him watch that shit. Once I got divorced, I ain't had to watch it no more. Look, I'm going to be honest. I had to watch that dumbass Kardashian shit. I'm like, oh my God. Because you got to make sacrifices when you're married. So I'll be honest. I ain't watched that shit in 12, 13 years. I had to watch that Kardashian shit and that damn housewives shit. Once I got divorced, I don't know nothing the Kardashians have done past 2013. I don't know what happened on the housewives past 2013. I'm done with this shit. Go ahead, Joby.
But yeah, let me say this then. We continue.
That's what crazy shit Joby husband gonna have to look at the appease Joby. We're gonna watch this. I don't watch it.
I'm not a crazy lady. I'm such a cool person, trust me. I want us to watch movies, action, some ongoing. I don't even like reality stuff because they're all full of lies. You know?
I hate that shit. Exactly right. I hate that shit.
Some scripted shit, you think it's all real. Nah, you know.
Yeah, it's all scripted. That's right. It's all scripted. I can't stand. I haven't watched a reality show in 13 years since that 12, 13 years since that time. Right? I watched one. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, let me share this very quickly.
What's coming and what's scary? America's banking system is teetering on the edge. The Federal Reserve has been shrinking its balance sheet at a rapid pace, pulling liquidity out of the system. Cracks are already showing. Analysts have been warning for a long time that we could see loan losses approaching 100% in key sectors like commercial real estate and apartment complex loans. Again, we've been warning about this for over a year here on the show. Friends of the show like Gerald Salenti and others have been saying this is coming. You need to pay attention.
I've been warning about that shit for goddamn 10 years.
going bust. This isn't just a few bad bets here. This is systemic. Banks across the country are sitting on trillions in exposure.
Of course.
While the Fed
Well,
is
the
now
banks.
tightening its screws, central banks are buying up as much gold as they can. It's like a recipe for
Oh,
right now.
yeah. Oh, you mean the real stuff, gold, and having the real stuff, not the paper. Go ahead.
To help us break down what's actually happening here is economist Peter St. Onge. She's been following this very, very closely. Peter, welcome back to the show. You know, I can't help but think that this feels like the beginning of a 2008 style collapse, or maybe it could be worse this time. Can you walk me off the ledge, or is this what we're facing? This could be worse than 2008.
Yeah, we've sort of been in a permanent 2008 crisis, really since the beginning of fractional reserve banking. That's the purpose of central banks, is to sort of bail out the financial system. And what they learned in 2008 is that the best way to do it, you don't wait until it breaks, you bail it out ahead of time. That's really what we saw in 2023. We saw, some bank stress. We had a couple of banks that collapsed. For a minute there in early 2023, we actually had larger bank collapses than we did in the beginning of 2008. The thing is that the system kicked in, bailed out everybody, right? The Fed came in with their, they essentially loaned banks based on fictitious asset values. They've got all these little backstops in there so that they can bail it out without anybody seeing it. Now, what is a concern at this point is that system is, sort of patched up with duct tape and bailing wire, and it's been holding together for the past couple of years. It got a little bit ugly in 2023, but indeed they bailed it out. They got it out of the headlines. The concern right now is that what happened during COVID is that the Fed just flooded money into the system. This is really all central banks in the world did the same thing. And you remember during Biden inflation, people were like, no, yeah, Europe's got inflation too. It's the Suez Canal, it's the supply chains.
And you know who owns all central banks on the planet. You know who owns all central banks on the planet. So understand this collapse is on purpose. Go ahead, Joe.
Capital, of course, that raised inflation, and so banks in the world did. They started draining that capital out. So that's something called quantitative tightening. Right? Quantitative easing is when the Fed just prints money and buys everything in sight. That's kind of a Wall Street bailout. It doesn't get the headlines. QT is when they do the opposite. So they let assets roll off the Fed balance sheet. The Fed at one point had $9 trillion on its balance sheet. It's more than all the companies in all of America. So it's been letting that roll off and then canceling the dollars. Now, it did that in order to break Biden inflation, which it did. That is how you break Biden inflation. The problem at this point is that they're still about $3 trillion heavy. Okay, they have roughly $6 trillion in assets sitting on the Fed balance sheet, and they know that that's disruptive to the system. They're trying to sell that off in quantitative tightening. The issue is that drains reserves out of the system. That drains money out. That kind of lubricates.
Pause that, Joe. Pause it. You see how they try? Now I want to stand the sleight of hand, the fake nonsense they do. They try to call it Biden inflation as if Biden has any control over central banks or Trump. None of them do. You know the central banks are controlled by who own them, who run them. And nothing to do with any Biden inflation. Biden ain't got shit to do with the Federal Reserve Bank or any damn reserve banks in London, France, and around the world. See, that's how they do the fake thing. Oh, it's Biden inflation. Or Trump, when the Democrats are back about, oh, this is Trumpflation. You know, they have nothing to do with monetary policy globally. Nothing. So what he's saying is a goddamn lie. It's over and over again, but they just lie in your face. Biden inflation. Ain't got shit to do with no Biden. Biden's a puppet. He don't run no damn Federal Reserve. Like Trump don't run the Fed. Go ahead, Joby.
Interbank loans. And so, to sort of give a flavor of that, there's something called reverse repo, which is where non-bank entities, including hedge funds, park money at the Fed and they get interest on it. That was a huge source of reserves for the past couple of years. At one point, it was north of $3 trillion. That is now down to $32 billion. So what's got people concerned is, A, we're draining liquidity out of the system. We actually know what happened last time. That was the so-called taper tantrum back in 2018-19, right before COVID hit. yeah, we had some financial drama. Interest rates were spiking. The Fed had to jump in. The question at this point is, are we going to see a repeat of that? More important, the Fed does not really have models that estimate what's going to happen when you drain all of that liquidity out. So that puts the Fed, they sort of painted themselves in a corner. They have to do this QT to pull all the money out that they printed during COVID, or else that's going to continue pumping inflation. But if they pull too much out, their concern is that they're going to break something. What's most likely to break is something that a lot of us have been watching for really the past 2 years, which is commercial real estate. So there's something like between 700 billion and 1.3 trillion in commercial real estate that is in distress. It's in distress for a couple of reasons. One of them is because the Fed yanked interest rates. They made them so low, then they made them so high. That meant a lot of property, a lot of investments got made, which are only tenable at those low interest rates. And of course, those are long gone. We have high interest rates now. That means that a lot of developers, they have to take projects that could only work with 2% money. Now they have to make it work with 8% money. So that's one issue. That's the so-called cliff, the maturation wall that we're facing. The other issue, of course, is that the economics of commercial real estate changed during COVID. It changed because a lot of blue cities fell apart. You know, they had riots, BLM riots, which the police were instructed to stand down.
You see how funny this is? I love why this was black people, right? Saying we're not going to stand for police brutality no more. I want you guys to, I'm going to send Joe, but I'm going to play this after this. It's a lie. Because they control the economy, what it does. We have nothing to do with any damn riots in this fucked up city saying these are BLM riots. Oh, riots had nothing to do with BLM. They know this is black people in the streets. They're not going to be allowing you to shoot us in the head no goddamn more. We're going to war with you motherfuckers. All right, because the economy got fucked up because BLM riots. Oh, riots had nothing to do with no BLM. Black people had nothing to do with BLM. See how they try to riot? No, BLM was about LGBTQ and transgender shit. And Joby read. You can't even find it on the internet no more. They had their whole manifesto. BLM is about gay, homosexual, and transgender. Nothing about black people. So the riots in the streets that happened 5 years ago was black people saying we had enough of this shit. We're gonna start going to war with you crackers. That's what it's about. But somehow it's about that's what the economy's all fucked up because black people were saying we're not gonna be shot in the fucking head no more. Somehow that's got something to do with it. So all this shit's always a lie. Disingenuous. There should be no poverty, guys. We live in a world of abundance. So people made a fake system. We have a few people on top stealing every goddamn thing and then make you pay for your very existence when everything is free. Water is free. Land is free. Every pay for all this stuff like it's scarcity. You live in a world of abundance. Why you giving you fake seeds? You gotta go and buy seeds. You live in a world of abundance. They got you think you live in a world of scarcity, so they can keep robbing and stealing from you. That's the way their system works. It's evil. So all this poverty and all this financial thing, it's all phony. It's all made up. They want to collapse the system again, so have a few people that rich, and everybody scrambling at the bottom and cause wars. It's all designed. Let me send you over this video. Sometimes Chinese guy got it right what I've been saying. It's all designed. This ain't no accident. All of it is designed. So when he's saying like, oh, you know, the economy because black people are in the streets with the BLM. Black people had nothing to do with no fucking BLM. Black people don't got nothing to do with no Black Lives Matter. That's fake group. And they know it's a fake group. And they know it's created by the hats. They know that. But he's still doing it because he's on a thing with hats control. You know, it's because of the blue cities had the BLM riots. See, they want to obfuscate you talking about BLM riots. BLM. These are black people in the streets saying we're not going to be fucking shot in the head no more. Going up, tearing up the cities and asking for justice. That ain't BLM. But suppose this supposedly destroyed the economy of the United States. That black people were protesting for rights, not to be killed by racist ass cops. You see how crazy this is? But this for white people. Ooh, you black people fighting for their rights and not being able to shoot them in the head caused the economy to get fucked up. What? Are you insane? Are you out of your rabbit ass mind? How deep the propaganda goes. Go ahead, Joby. I'm gonna send you this video.
Okay, send it. I'm waiting.
On that raised the risk. Also worked from home, so an enormous number of people left the office. Now, companies are to a certain extent reversing those work from home policies. They're telling people come back to the office or you're gone. But there are also a lot of companies that change their structure because it is cheaper if everybody can work from home for certain industries. So we've had a structural reduction in office demand. We've had a specific reduction in cities like San Francisco or New York.
You're the wicked system. They don't want you working at home because they got no control over it. Right? Power believes in control and dominance. And I don't want your ass at home. I want you in the office being stressed out and doing what you're told to do, working to the T. I want you stressed out and broke. Going to work all messed up in a traffic jam and going home in traffic. I don't want you at home. And prove it home, you probably work a little better, maybe, they don't want you to have any kind of freedom at all. They're telling you get your ass back to work or you're fired. Think you're gonna be at home on your computer? Knock it off, get your ass back in the office or you're fired. Go ahead, Joe.
Said, screw this, I'm done with the homeless, I'm done with the riots, I'm done with the street crime, I'm gonna take things out, maybe I'm gonna take them to Florida or somewhere. And you don't have as much legacy property in places like those. A lot of those projects are brand new. So that's the concern, is that we can see a lot of those properties fail. Those commercial real estate loans are disproportionately in small community banks, which are weaker to begin with. They don't have the too big to fail permanent bailout that gives larger banks a competitive advantage in raising capital.
He said you're good to be in these banks. That's still all your money, too big to fail. You should have your money, like I told you, put your money in credit unions so your money don't get stolen. That's how you know he's an op. You see, your money is in these smaller banks and stuff, and it should be in the big banks that when the ones that steal your money and they're too big to fail. Those banks have been stealing people's money, you fucking moron. And he knows that. He knows most of you are stupid. You don't understand economics. You don't understand how finances work. So he can just spout a bunch of bullshit. This is a despicable ass liar. And the people that's putting him on there, they're despicable. They know his ass is lying. That's why he's a regular on this program. This is a despicable ass cracker. Despicable. Lying at, but that's their nature. That's their nature. This despicable ass bastard here. Tell you to go with people stealing your shit, stealing all your damn money. Well, the smaller banks, don't put your money in the smaller banks. You want your book in the bigger banks, the ones that are too big to fail. The ones that got caught in 2008 stealing everybody's goddamn money. Where money just said go to? The ones in 2008, we had to bail them out because they were too big to fail, so the taxpayers paid for the banks that were stealing people's money. How's he talking about? Go ahead, Joby. Damn moron here.
I'm waiting for your video. Cue your video so you can stop you off.
You get mad because I'm going to this guy you bringing up and I'm just destroying it.
No. I'm not. Okay. It's okay because that's what makes us understand literally deeper of what you're. I'm not mad at all. Why? That the others which I tried to give him time. At least you gave him time today to talk.
Which is all backed by the taxpayer, but anyway, it exists.
I know what he's gonna say.
That we can see this cascade where commercial real estate breaks, community banks break, and then when you've got that combined with this eroding capital buffer across the entire economy as the Fed drains out, we could see something that at least is as bad as 2023, could be worse, more towards 2008.
Jeez.
Now, something I've been wondering about is President Trump continues to put pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates because he wants more money to circulate. But we all know that you don't get both. You either get a low rate or a low price. And so if we get that low rate, we're going to see prices of homes skyrocket. And something that Marjorie Taylor Greene has said repeatedly is that young people can't afford to buy houses. So that's not going to solve this bit.
They can't afford to buy.
What happens? I mean, it seems inconceivable, but could this push housing prices even higher? What would that do to the housing, the primary home market?
Yeah, they absolutely could. So you're right. Traditionally, when you lower interest rates, house prices go up. When you lower interest rates, everything goes up. This is why boomers are so rich, because the Fed handed them their $1 million retirements. But specific to housing has really been a mess the past couple of years. And again, this goes back to the Fed yo-yoing rates, right? So if you push rates to near zero and you keep them there for a little while and then you suddenly yank them up, right? The Fed increase of interest rates over the past couple of years, that was the biggest since the 1970s. Right, so that is disruptive to all kinds of things. It's disruptive to community banks, to commercial real estate, but specifically to housing, because what it does is that people in. So somebody might have bought a house in 2021. They might have bought it at 3% mortgage. It was expensive back then, but they could afford it at 3% mortgage. The problem at this point now is that home prices have gone up about 40% nationwide, but because the interest rate on mortgages went from, 3.25% to, now we're roughly 7%, people are priced out of the market. And the issue is that when you lower interest rates, historically, that makes house prices go up even more. The question is, when we unstick this frozen market, right, we've got all these millions of people who are locked into homes where they can't afford to sell.
What you got? Pause it. I sent you the video too. What you got is an evil system which is not based on anything. See, that tells you, and the sad fact, we're born in this system, going to school, we're uneducated, we know how things really work, we listen to morons like this, some of their financial counselors and all this old shit, not understand the very system that we're in is wicked and evil, and it should not exist. The very system is set up for a few people to crash it or build it up at any given time they want. That's what we don't understand. That the whole system that's been created by these hats is wicked. And shout out to these Chinese guys who understand what I've been saying. Like I said, you live in a world of abundance. Should nobody be poor? Should nobody be without food, water, shelter, none of that shit. None of it. But they create you a fake paper system, a fake money, where they get to be the rich people, and then they don't want too many people rich. Like he's got been said, they don't want too many rich people. They start the wars to kill off you. They make sure they're always on the top. And you got these fake systems, this white man's talking about like it's a real system. Yes, and it's interest rates and all this happened. The whole system is fucking fake. That's why I spent all my life studying the system. Something didn't make sense to me, but shit don't make no damn sense to me. This don't make any sense to me. The whole system is fucking fake. Made up. Controlled. The whole system is fucking fake. He's in there talking, analyzing. Oh, if the interest rates go up and Trump does this and this happens with this, the whole system is fucking fake. Because housing should be affordable. You set the price of what wood should be. Wood should be almost little to nothing. If we're growing wood every day, growing plants and trees, it should be little to nothing. Why is it so fucking expensive? Because they want you in poverty. They need you in poverty. They need people to work to keep their lifestyle going. It's all fraudulent. Shout out to this Chinese dude that understood what I was been saying. The system is fucking. You live in a fake world, in a fake system. Everything is fucking fake. You come to the conclusion like, God damn, everything in this world is fucking fake. Imagine how mind-blowing that is to the moron you try to teach. Everything in this world is fucking fake. Go ahead, Joe.
Because we don't want people to all have money. The powerful people don't want that. That's exactly the answer. And why? Because Otherwise, no one would work. Do you understand? The point of putting money is not to give you money. The point of putting money is to create the illusion that money is valuable, and therefore you work hard.
We're going to play this twice so you understand this. We're going to play this twice.
In order for me to make you want to get money, I need to create artificial misery. Do you understand?
Artificial poverty.
If there weren't poor people, you wouldn't want to be rich. It's only because you see people suffer that you would want to go make money for yourself. What do your parents tell you? Your parents tell you, work hard in school, make a lot of money. Otherwise, you're going to end up like a poor person. Right? Well, guess what? If there are no poor people, your parents couldn't say that to you. And you wouldn't want to work hard in school. Right? That's why we have poverty. Because poverty creates the illusion that money is valuable. In other words, poverty isn't what you do to yourself, it is what the powerful do to you. Now let me ask you another question. You guys have studied some economics. Why do you have like crises? Crises. For example, there's a stock market crash. Or for example, the economy goes down and people lose their jobs. Why do you have crises? Exactly. You're not taught this in economics class. That's kind of weird, right? The point of crises is to destroy money. Why do we need to destroy money? Because if there's too much money in the system, people don't have to work. So you have to destroy this money in order to make people feel money is scarce. Okay, does that make sense? So why do we have wars? Right? Why are there wars in the world then? Because they're fighting over scarce resources, right? I already told you, scarcity is a lie. The real reason is war is meant to destroy wealth.
Exactly. Scarcity is a lie. You live in a world of abundance, especially in Africa. Africa's abundant. But you got a moronic class. You're not growing food. You're not doing what you're supposed to. You live in a world of abundance. And they charge you to live in a world of abundance, saying you have scarcity. It's a scam. It's fake. Go ahead, Joe.
In order to make you think money is valuable. You understand? You guys play World of Warcraft? Or these games, right? Guess what, guys? World of Warcraft in our world, there's actually no difference. You just run around pointlessly working hard to obtain credits in order to buy stuff. If credits just flew out of the sky, because they could do that, right? They could actually program the engine to just print money out of nothing. You wouldn't do nothing every day. You wouldn't play the game. Okay? It's only because you believe that there's scarcity in the world and that you must work hard to obtain wealth that you do any work. Do you understand this? Okay? So this world that we live in, it's a complete illusion created by central banking in order to...
Pause that. By central banking. Who owns the fucking central banks? But I've been said this. You live in a world of fraud. Your money's a fraud. Your working is a fraud. It's all fake to keep a group of people wealthy off your goddamn back. You don't live in a world of scarcity. You live in a world of abundance, which they keep and steal from you and buy up everything, then hand you a little piece, a little piece, a little piece, a little piece. So you're being scarcity and poverty. The poverty in Africa is inhumane. But it's the richest continent on the planet. You imagine that? Poverty's fucking humane. But it's the richest continent on the planet. Where's the disconnect? Because it's put in the poverty. Purposely. That's why. Go ahead, Joe.
Because the real value is not money. The real value is the work we do.
Exactly. Money's fake. Paper's fake.
Okay, does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Let me repeat it.
Yeah, because We don't want people to all have money.
Money, right.
Powerful people don't want that. That's the answer. And why? Because otherwise, no one would work.
Who's gonna be my maid? Who's gonna take care of my little brats? If it's not poor people, who's gonna feed my? How can I put my brat's titty in your put your titty in my brat's mouth? Huh? Who's gonna do that? Without the fake illusion of fake money and fake scarcity. Who's gonna do it? Go ahead, Joe.
The point of putting money is not to give you money. The point of putting money is to create the illusion that money is valuable, and therefore you work hard in order to obtain it. But in order for me to make you want to get money, I need to create artificial misery.
Yes.
You understand? Right? If there weren't poor people, you wouldn't want to be rich. It's only because you see people suffer that you would want to go make money for yourself. What do your parents tell you? Your parents tell you, work hard in school, make a lot of money. Otherwise, you're going to end up like a poor person. Right? Well, guess what? If there are no poor people, your parents couldn't say that to you. And you wouldn't want to work hard in school. Right? That's why we have poverty. Because poverty creates the illusion that money is valuable. In other words, poverty isn't what you do to yourself, it is what the powerful do to you. Now let me ask you another question. You guys have studied some economics. Why do you have like crises? Crises. For example, there's a stock market crash. Or for example, the economy goes down and people lose their jobs. Why do you have crises? Exactly. You're not taught this in economics class. That's kind of weird, right? The point of crises is to destroy money. Why do we need to destroy money? Because if there's too much money in the system, people don't have to work. So you have to destroy this money in order to make people feel money is scarce. Okay, does that make sense? So why do we have wars? Right? Why are there wars in the world then? Because they're fighting over scarce resources, right? I already told you. Scarcity is a lie. The real reason is war is meant to destroy wealth in order to make you think money is valuable. You understand? You guys play World of Warcraft or these games, right? Guess what, guys? World of Warcraft in our world, there's actually no difference. You just run around pointlessly working hard to obtain credits in order to buy stuff. If credits just flew out of the sky, because they could do that, right? They could actually program the engine to just put money out of nothing. You wouldn't do nothing every day. You wouldn't play the game. Okay? It's only because you believe that there's scarcity in the world and that you must work hard to obtain wealth that you do any work. Do you understand this? Okay? So this world that we live in, it's a complete illusion created by central banking to make us work as hard as possible. Because the real value is not money. The real value is the work we do. Okay, does that make sense, guys?
All right, Joe, you can read the comments and wrap it up.
Let me go all the way back. Just a minute.
I'll be talking to you in the comments, George guy, about going around the city with the camera and your fancy motorcycle bike. So you won't get stuck by the drug users.
Okay, so we had Arya Jason saying black box moving back on the south bring a lot of bubble gum tools because we're not going to play like the 1800s ancestors. Jerome Stress says, well, excuse me, miss, I don't follow trend. I mean, yeah, it's true. I just don't follow trends, not with clothes, not with nothing. I'm a simple person, being honest. Byron Scott says, the real hand behind the drug destruction is the United States. is in
Exactly.
the United States, the CIA. The drug money is being cleansed, I think that's what you meant, by the Vatican Bank. And Jarake says
The Vatican Bank is the Rothschild Bank. Rothschilds control the Vatican Bank. They've had control of the Vatican. They've had control of the Vatican Bank for almost 200 years. Rothschilds control the Vatican Bank. Go ahead, Joe.
I also see Jarake says the U.S. maintains a significant military presence through a 10-year renewable agreement signed with Colombia on October 30th, 2009. And
Exactly. So drugs in Venezuela. What are you talking about? Drugs come out of Colombia, and we got bases all over there cooking up damn cocaine. Not no damn Venezuela. Venezuela's about oil. They want to be able to go and overthrow the government and steal their oil. Go ahead, Joe.
I also see Jarake says, which grants Washington access to 7 Colombia military bases for joint operation. Adding the largest of these facilities is the Palanquero military base located on the Magdalena River, which features Colombian longest runway housing for the 2,000 troops and other infrastructures like a theater and supermarket.
Wow.
And Byron says, I worked in all over the Central America in the 80s when I was in the military. Ricky Snokribu Sana, hope you're doing amazing. Nice to see you. Says, I drive all over Midwest going to casino. I see $5 Indiana and on drugs.
That damn Ricky's at all these casinos. Rick, that's gotta be your thing, huh, Rick? Rick likes to hang out at casino, give him a little drink, chill, shoot a little dice, do a little gambling. All right, Rick, you going everywhere to these casinos. Shit. You probably went past Big Cheese House and seen them methods out there.
I also see Jiba Jaba Karibu Sana once again. Says Venezuela crude oil is high grade. Pablo Escobar was a Colombian. Al Jazeera is controlled by the richest, which is the Rothschild media. Yes, I said it's controlled, but it brings a little bit of the truth. A little bit. I didn't say all of the truth. A little bit.
Yeah, it's always a little bit. Yeah, you can't have all lies. Exactly. You gotta have some truth in there.
Yeah, they mix the truth and the lies.
Won't
So
listen
what you
to
think?
you.
Yeah, if you pick the truth, if you pick the lie, that is up to you. But I also see he said Pittsburgh as a special drug court. Baron adds, remember all the coffee they used to grow in Colombia that has been replaced by cocaine. Jibajaba says Western
Wow. You're right. I haven't seen a commercial talking about Colombian coffee since I was a kid. You're right. Come to Colombia. Colombian Valdez picks the best coffee beans in the world in Colombia. Go ahead, Joe.
And Jiba also says Western. Okay, I read that. Says I know white contractors that lost everything over pills and coke.
Wow.
A good source for pills was the dentist, and that is Jiba Jaba. KW John says the investigative journalist Gary Webb proved that the CIA was instrumental in the drug trade in his book Dark Alliance. He was murdered in 2004. His death was ruled a
A suicide. It was ruled a suicide because he shot himself in the back of the head twice. Of course, he committed suicide.
Yeah, we believe that. But I also see Jiba says, we believe that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Jiba says, Joby, your leg, if you are a white girl in America, the doctor would give you unlimited prescription to get you hooked, and he gets a kickback. Nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I only have 1 week remaining. So also I'm not white. So that's a good privilege. But also 10 Speed Karibu Sana, hope you're doing great. Samuel Karibu as well, hope you're doing great today. Speaking of drugs, you all remember the K12, the K2, that synthetic weed. That is Samuel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Speed says we had a place like that in Chicago in the 70s and 80s. We called it Hydrol. I'm sure the big cheese contest to that right along hosted in Madison Street area, exactly like that. KW Don says the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Vancouver is two $2,200 to
Damn, even
2,000.
high. Yeah, Canada's high as hell. So there's gonna be probably 2,000. All these, and look, and it's the Jays that are taking down these countries. $2,200. Now, but you don't live over in Vancouver. Don't you live over in Toronto? Now, I've been to Toronto more times than I've been to Vancouver. I was in Vancouver when I was a kid. Toronto's expensive too, ain't it? All of Canada's expensive, but that's crazy. $2,200 to live in a small bathroom. Crazy.
And also, yes, I do see things like those jibba jabba on the streets, but yeah, it depends where you're living, being honest, because it depends where you're living. I don't know, there's somewhere I went, I saw they're throwing trash recently, and I was really shocked because I've not been outside. So I think that was when I was coming from the hospital. Yeah, along the road. And I was really shocked that they already put it as a dumping site. Like, it was not like that 2-3 weeks ago. It was very clean. Now it's already a dumping site. It's crazy. It's lack of organization and I'd say just lack of organization when it comes to this system. Someone says it's like how France is going to do the drain now. Big Cheese says in Chicago, police and federal agents will steal drugs from one drug dealer and give to another drug dealer to sell for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Jibba Jabbas calls them the booty scratcher, Americans booty scratchers. No sympathy for me, your body, your choice. And Samuel says, Baron says, what even the rats have OD in Vancouver? Have OD'd in Vancouver? Oh, you saw that rat that was dead. I don't know. They might have OD'd. I don't know.
The rat reading on them dirty drug dealers and die. Got poison.
Big Cheese says to Jiba, I had a whole crew of black police officers begging me to set up drug dealers so that they could rob them for all their drugs and cash in the late 90s. And I also see Jiba says, dude, they got a divorce. They got a divorced Queen's housewife of Atlanta straight up the hood shit. And Keith was watching every week. Don't lie, Mr.
I had to watch it with my wife. That's way back 2012, 13. That's it. Left 2010, 11, 12. I had to watch that shit. You guys think at 2014, I don't know what the hell was happening with that shit.
And 10 Speed says, I just walked past a lady like that back fence all the way over so many years of noting heroin, and she has ham in the bag. Be careful, 10 Speed, on your area, wherever you are. Big Cheese says, yeah, I said you have watched all the episodes. 10 Speed says, you're talking about the housewife staff was sick when I lived in the female. When I lived with a female, she'd watch Jerry Springer and Maury every day.
I told you, every day, yeah. Every day with that shit, yep. See? Every day.
I don't understand.
You understand what? What don't you understand, Joe?
They're keeping up with the shit. I can't keep up with things like that. I love watching something, then that's why you'll see I can watch a series like within a day. I don't like going back and forth. I love getting
go back then, Joe. There was no Netflix, Joe. There was no streaming shit yet. No streaming. No. You had to watch it every week. But now you can watch the whole episode. Of course, now you could, but now, back then you couldn't, Joe. There was no technology. I watched the whole damn series in a day. Now you had to watch that shit every week.
You guys are more advanced more than us. So you had movies, cinemas, like you had when you're talking about the guy we're talking about earlier today, what was his name? The greatest actor. What is his name?
We got to put Samuel Jackson for the lead, Joe. Samuel Jackson, go to Pulp Fiction. Go to YouTube real quick, Joey, and put Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction says, "Say what?" one more time. say the scene in Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson says, "Say what?" one more time. And that's where we left out. Hey, keep chilling. What kind of burgers is this you eating? They're gonna eat their burger and drink their shit before they shoot them and kill them and shit. What kind of burger is this you eat, Joey? It's an ugali burger. What kind of burger is this? You mind if I taste some of your burger, Joey?
Yeah, but let me wrap up with the comments first, then I'll share the button as I close up. Big Cheese says, tell them what happened on the last week's show of the Housewives of Atlanta. And I also see Ricky says,
I don't know, Negro. I don't know, Negro. You tell us. I got no clue.
Jason says everyone is still tripping off the white kids beating up that black kid who tried to. We'll look up to that tomorrow. Kindly, Jason, highlight it on
I didn't see it. Black kids beat the black kid. Did what?
Highlight it on the WhatsApp. Then we'll discuss it tomorrow, Jason. Kindly, because you mentioned it yesterday, and
I didn't see it.
Yeah, me too. I've not seen it. 10 Speed says, I believe the short hats purposely make those shows to humiliate black women, making them wear weaves, bleach.
Making them bad weaves, but also know to really humiliate is to show black men in a bad light, 10 Speed. Because remember, all the women were dominating over black men, talking to black men all crazy. The black man was always considered seen as weak and stupid. The black women were always the ones in control of the house and ruled everything. The black man was all stupid and weak. I'm like, hey man, what kind of agenda is this? Don't fuck. I told my wife, don't fuck around and get crazy up in here.
Jason says, push house cost all they want. Nobody will buy these termites infested homes. And also says that's why it's many vacant homes are all around California. John Mosquito says low interest rates, prices go up, all part of this pay for money scam, unfortunately.
It's a scam.
And Jiba says poverty is created. John Mosquito says the answer to this is everybody owns their own land, so if they don't work, you don't eat. It says the system of the old world, this new world system order, which system works better? And Jason says that's the funny thing about California casinos. These FBA pretended Indians don't say nothing to the $5 Indians. And Jason says police used to take drugs and money from dealers to take them. You want to go to jail, or if not, they take the drugs and money.
Exactly. You want to go to jail, you want to go free. That's right. That's what Big Cheese is saying. You want to go to jail or you want to go free? You want to go home? All right, give the drugs, Joby. You go home.
Let me share this video. I wind up.
Go ahead.
Here it is.
There we go.
Okay, this is for educational purposes.
Purposes only, YouTube. We're talking about the greatest actor that ever lived, Samuel L. Jackson. Now, so many roles. Samuel Jackson's been so many different characters. It's amazing. And he made you believe every single one of them. He's been a bootlicking, handkerchief head Negro in Django. He's been a downright killing Pulp Fiction. He just done everything. Samuel Jackson is the man. And that's why it's funny. He's not the richest actor, but his movies have made more money than any other actor in history. Because he's black. That's why he's not paid what he deserves. And Samuel still never won an Oscar. Can you imagine? Samuel Jackson has never been given an Academy Award. And everybody knows he's considered one of the best actors because he's black. Go ahead, Joey.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Yes. Then you know what I'm saying. Yes. Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like. What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time. He's black. Go on. He's bald. Does he look like a bitch? What? Does he look like a bitch? No! Then why you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett? He did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Why'd you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett? And Marcellus Wallace don't like to be fucked by anybody except. But it's white. But it's white. You read the Bible, Brett. Read the Bible? Yes. Yes. Passage, I say. Pause it, Joey. Pause it. I like when he does it because he said, remember, he said, I don't give a fuck about that Bible shit. That shit's ball baloney. But I think it's some real righteous shit to say when you kill a motherfucker. Go ahead, Joey. 17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. I just thought it was some cool shit to say when you kill a motherfucker.
Yeah. We were looking for that earlier on my show, so
but that was a continuation of the same scene, Joey, when he was eating the burger. He said, what kind of burgers are these?
I remember. But family, we're gonna wrap it up there. For today's conversation, have yourself some beautiful rest part of your day.
Much love, family. We're gonna look at Pulp Fiction as movie night one night. Go ahead.
Yeah, this has been the Africa Today show. Shout out to everyone who has been with us on the chat. Kindly hit that like button. You are so many, so hit that like button. The number should match the likes as much as YouTube.
If you guys don't hit the like button, I'm gonna get some big pipe hitting niggas around here, and I'm gonna get medieval on your ass. Okay? You better hit the like button. I'm gonna get medieval on your ass. Kindly. See, Joey has got to put the African in there. Kindly. I'm trying to be cool and not get medieval on your ass, and Joey has to throw it off by saying kindly.
Yes, so much love, family. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Yes, my name is Judy. Subscribe.
Subscribe. The like. Right. One more bit shoot.
On the Google Play Store, download the app on the TV if you have Roku or Amazon. We're on Africa too. Yes, so ensure you also download the app. You can either watch us or listen to us. Depends with what you prefer.
If not, I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
Much love.
And I won't do it kindly. I'm gonna get medieval on that ass.
Peace, family.